So the Cavs-Celtics matchup is 5 games away. But let's look at the 4 games before that because the Cavs have 4 games this week. The schedule, not too bad. They play at Chicago tonight. Then they're at Philadelphia on Wednesday. Joel Embiid makes his season debut Tuesday. He has said he's not playing in back-to-backs. So barring some crazy change, Joel Embiid will not be playing for the 76ers, who are also without Tyrese Maxey, who's out with a hamstring injury. So it could be just the Paul George 76ers. Then they're home on Friday for the first game of the NBA Cup against the Bulls. Then they head to Charlotte on Sunday, and then they take on the Celtics on Tuesday. So let's focus on these 4 games, guys. What are the chances that next Monday, 1 week to the day today, can we really be talking about a 15-0 Cavs team getting ready for a matchup with the Celtics?
Is Charlotte any good? I don't know about Charlotte.
Frisky, but not good.
Frisky, so like the Nets? I mean,
they're not as good as the Nets.
Nets are better.
Can they? Yeah, they absolutely can be.
Sure. I mean, the only good team is Philly, and they're missing 2 of their best players.
Yeah, it's the NBA, and you just never know.
Yeah.
But
3 of those are on the road. They should win. They should win all 4
should.
Because they're aware of the streak. They're playing hard because of the streak.
Right.
They want to keep this thing going as long as they can. So,
what's the spread tonight, Mike?
8 points. They are favored by 8 points.
8 on the road.
Now Chicago's defense is not good. They play with pace. They run. They shoot a ton of threes. They don't guard anybody.
they don't have any back-to-backs on that. That helps.
yeah.
I don't know those other teams if they're on a second night of a back-to-back on any of those. That makes a difference. Schedule always plays a role in NBA games.
Yeah.
The only reason why I would say they might catch one is because 3 of those are on the road. But they should beat all 4 of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, anytime.
All it takes is one bad shooting night, though.
Right. I mean, they're going to be favored in all 4 games.
If you notice that
They will
Brooklyn
be.
game, they had a ton of great looks, and they just didn't fall
Right.
because that's just the league. Like you're going to have those nights where you get wide open looks, they don't go in. That's the nature of the game.
You give them
And you
better
can't
than
predict when they're coming. I mean,
Right.
sometimes
Right.
you can look at them after back-to-backs. You can say, well,
Didn't have their legs.
but you can't predict. You can't see a loss coming in that stretch. Now, it doesn't mean they won't suffer a loss.
Right.
But when you look at that and you consider how this team is playing, I think it's very, very conceivable that they come into the Celtics 15-0.
I think Philly's probably still the most vulnerable. They'd be the most vulnerable even without Embiid and Maxey, just because I'm not impressed with any of those other teams. And I've told you guys 100 times I'm not a Philly fan at all. I'm not a big believer in them. But if you're gonna make me pick one they're in most
That's
jeopardy
the one that
of
most
losing,
scares me too.
Yeah, it would have to be the Philly game.
Right, but missing your 2 best players or 2 of your 3 best
Yeah,
players.
I'm just saying.
You are, but
if between
Yeah.
Philly, Chicago, and Charlotte, if I have
Yeah,
to pick,
that's-
I would take Philly.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, if you we're going to think they're going to win them all.
Yeah.
The only reason they might lose it because it's you never know. It's
Mike,
but yeah,
they'll be favored in all of those.
significantly.
I can't imagine they wouldn't be if they're
Yeah, they'll be
8-point
favored in all
favorites
of them.
against Chicago on the road.
Yeah.
They'll be double
Be
digit at home.
double-digit favorites at home.
Yeah.
Charlotte, I mean, they're 4-6. They're not good.
No, they'll be
Yeah,
favored in all
Philly,
four
they'll
of
be a
those.
slight favorite.
And
in
Philly's
Philly,
2-7. But without Embiid and Max, I mean, I guess the only way they wouldn't be favored is if Embiid decides to play a back-to-back. And then maybe
Well, if you're
They're a
looking for
slight
motivation, if you're Philly, you need a statement win. Your season is circling the drain right now, and you hate to say that because we're so early, but they've just been that horrible, and there's been so many negative things happening around that team.
Yeah.
You're looking for a turnaround statement win. If you beat these Cavs, that's it. So if I'm Embiid, I'm definitely gonna go to the coach and say, look,
Yeah.
I want this one. I think we can beat them.
Who do they play Tuesday? Who's Philly
the
play
Knicks,
Tuesday?
which is
is
his debut. He's already
Yeah.
said he's playing Tuesday.
Which,
Suspension ends on
What's your
Monday.
percentage? Percentage chance the Cavs are 15-0 versus Boston.
75.
I wouldn't go that high.
I'm going to go 60.
Yeah, I was
gonna
thinking
say 60
55.
also.
I was thinking 55
Yeah.
or 60. Just
But
because
we're all
it's the
over
NBA.
50.
Yeah, it's.
I'm just doing it mathematically. They're
Yeah.
favored in every game.
I want to go.
And pull up the schedule real quick, because this is, I think, to the point I was making a little earlier. When you're not so reliant on one guy, right? And it's not always Donovan now. We just mentioned every game this season they've had a different leading scorer in back-to-back games. You can afford a Donovan off night. Or Darius, if he doesn't, who's playing incredible right now. Darius shoots like crap one night. You can make up for it. If Evan doesn't have his A game. Jared Allen, I think, had maybe his worst game in recent memory against the Nets. I mean, you guys
he
see
was
his box
terrible.
score? He was. I mean, Jared Allen, the guy who wakes up and has 10 rebounds and 13 points on 80% shooting, finished the game against the Nets with 4 points and 3 rebounds in 21 minutes. And they still beat a Nets team, which is not a great Nets team, but is certainly good enough to knock you off on the wrong night. Isaac Okoro shooting, I mean, he was not good against the Nets, but he's been really good since he got inserted into the starting lineup. The fact that you don't need one guy to carry you in a stretch like this where it's 4 games in a week, you could kind of play off a bunch of different guys. And, yeah, I shockingly feel good about the fact they can win 4 games in a row here.
I want to go back to one thing you said earlier about the schedule because, I mean, just look at that right there. You have a game every other night in a different city.
Right.
And, yes, baseball is a 162-game grind. But when you travel in baseball, when you get to a city, you're there for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
And you can get on a normal sleep schedule and
Right.
normal rest. The NBA, especially probably over the last 10 years, has really tried to find a way to optimize rest with these guys to where, like Golden State stayed over after the game. They practiced actually at the Cavs facility. They got a good practice in, and then they flew to OKC. It used to be you fly out right after the game, and you'd get in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it would just throw off your schedule. I've never been as tired as I was. I know, like, play the violin. I get it. It's a great life. But you're tired all the time.
Sure.
Because there was so many.
And you weren't running 5 miles a day.
No, but, like, I would wake up in the morning, and I would have the notification to check in for my next flight before I got on this plane.
Yeah, that's when you know you're on a treadmill that you can't keep up with. I had that happen to me as well many times, and I'm like, you forget where you are.
Check in for your flight from Charlotte to Miami. I'm in Cleveland. I'm not even in Charlotte yet. But the good thing about that stretch that they're in, those are not bad flights. The longest one is Chicago to Philly. That's an hour and a half, and then Philly to Charlotte is quick. So
the way they travel too.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going through
They're not going through
security.
TSA.
They're not waiting in lines.
They're not getting wanded.
Their seats lay all the way back, and they can take a complete nap. I mean, so it is different from your travel. The other thing, too, is I'd like to look into this. I don't know. There's double the games in baseball that there is in the NBA, but there's more. I would say there's probably more travel in the NBA.
100%, yes.
Because you're going to a city, and then you're going to a city, and you're going, where at least in baseball, and in baseball, and I'm not saying that these guys don't have a grind either. They have a grind too.
Absolutely.
But for me, in talking to players through the years, I always felt like the NBA players were able to better articulate just how much of a grind it was. When you hear them talk about, and then how much they run on any given night.
Yeah.
Baseball players are running to their position and around the bases once, maybe. Where these guys don't stop for 2 hours. They're back and forth and up and down, and it just is exhausting. If you just did the travel alone, you'd be tired.
It's rare that you're in a place for more than 36 hours, 48 hours.
Yeah.
You're constantly in and out, in and out.
And at least with baseball, sometimes you get in on a Thursday, you leave Sunday night.
Right. And the NBA's tried to do a better job of, like, stacking the LA games, stacking the New York games.
West Coast swings.
So teams can stay in one spot for 3 days. And that feels like a luxury that, oh, my God, we're here for 3 days. I don't have to get on a plane. It's huge for the teams. I still believe this. I think the NBA should find a way. You can't probably do it all the time, but as much as possible, if you're going to play Charlotte twice, play them on Tuesday and Thursday.
Hey, Jason, they're doing that in the G League.
They should. They
are.
Didn't the Cavs last year have a situation where they did that?
It's starting to happen.
I thought they had a
happens every
situation
once
last
in a
year
while.
where can't remember what city, but they played not on back-to-back nights.
I think it was Boston. They played
I think it was Boston. I think they were there.
Boston off
They've had
and
a
then
few.
Boston again.
Yeah, and that's
the G
smart.
League,
Why not do it that way?
The G League is doing. So the Mad Ants were here this weekend. The Charge opened up their season, and they came in Friday, played Saturday, Sunday, left this morning.
And the push.
And they're going to
It especially
Detroit.
makes sense for them because travel is expensive.
And they do buses, and they're going to Detroit. And I know one of the coaches on the Mad Ants, so he was telling me they're going to Detroit for 2 games. They're staying 3 days, and then they go back. But they've combined as many series as they can.
Yeah,
and they should
cut the travel almost in half.
And you're going to see why the NBA pushes back against that because they say it's a hard sell to sell that game the second night.
Sure,
it is. Sure.
But you're not really
in
caring
the minors.
You don't
well,
care
now
about
in the
ticket sales
minors,
in the G League anyway.
You play. They play a whole week against one team in minor league baseball. If you look at the AAA,
oh yeah, baseball, yeah,
you play 6. You play. You used to, But you're right. There are more. I would think there are more road trips in the NBA because
it's
because you're really going on at least 37, 38 trips. I mean, baseball, it's probably like 30.
Nobody's going to feel sorry for you covering the NBA.
No
one's going to feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
No,
but it is
a grind.
It's a grind.
You know who's got it worse than media, than players? Officials. They don't have a home. team, right?
No, I guess
Well,
not.
they get days off. They don't go the whole time. They're off. They'll get a week
But
off.
don't they do at least 80 games?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they stay in our hotels. I was
Right.
I'd
What I'm
had
saying they don't have like a homestand.
I had breakfast and drinks at the bar with plenty of NBA officials because they were always in our
they're running
in our
too.
hotel.
Yeah, right,
they
that's
are.
true.
They're in
Nonstop.
incredible shape.
Yeah.
You have to be.